You sure you don't want any coffee, Agent Montoya?
I'm fine, Lieutenant Gray. Thank you. How are things?
Well, my badge is at work. I'm here at home on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. And you're here. How do you think things are going?
Yes, it's unfortunate. But the fact of the matter is, I have a dead D.E.A. agent with a bullet lodged in her that was fired from your service weapon, and I've come to find out why.
Agent Montoya, I'm not exactly sure what more you're expecting from me outside of what I've given the investigators already.
Yes, I have that version right here, but it does look like you've purposefully left something out of your report.
And what might that be?
The most important part. Did you know that Agent Rooks and I were actually really close friends? And you know, girls talk. You don't think she would have told me about the two of you?
I'm not sure exactly how relevant that is to this investigation.
That is the investigation, Lieutenant Gray. When Agent Rooks disappeared a year ago, we had some of our best people trying to track her down, with no luck. A few days ago, she shows up dead in a parking garage in Miami, shot by you. So if you could, Lieutenant Gray, help me fill in those blanks. I'm very interested to know how someone from outside of our agency was able to discover things that we could not.
Well, for starters, let's acknowledge what actually happened. Agent Rooks didn't disappear. She went rogue.
And how did you know that?
I didn't, at first. But you guys are very sloppy. You talk too much. Which worked out in my favor, turns out. However, I didn't know you guys had her working undercover during the last 6 months of our relationship. She never mentioned it once. But I knew it had to be something serious due to all of the international traveling intensity. Then one day she just stopped answering her phone or returning my calls. She just disappeared, as you put it. I panicked. I thought something terrible had happened to her, so I put out calls to everyone who I could think of that was involved in drug enforcement. I haven't reached out to you guys, but even your own agency didn't know what had happened to her.
We didn't. Our assumption was that her cover was blown and she'd been made as a mole. We assumed the worst.
That was around the time I found out you guys had her working undercover. But when I found out who you had her working undercover for, somehow I rationalized in my head why exactly you guys had her cut off all communication with me. I mean, she was pursuing one of the biggest drug traffickers in the country. But as it turned out, that wasn't the case at all either. Turned out she was actually in love with the son of a bitch, as well as the lifestyle of being a girlfriend of a wealthy drug trafficker. Hence, the going rogue part. I won't tell you exactly where I got my intel from, but it only took me about 3.5 months until I was able to track her down. I never forgave her for abandoning what we built. I was hurt, but I never set out to kill her because of it. I just decided that one day I would find her and confront her about it, talk some sense into her, and try to convince her to come back before she went down a path too far that she couldn't return from.
Do you think she knew that Vincent Carter is your half-brother?
Didn't seem to be the case. I was even surprised that you guys hadn't provided her with that information. I just didn't get why out of all the cases in the world, you guys decided to put her on this case. Unless, at some point, you guys thought that you could leverage the relationship to help you catch my brother. But then again, I thought to myself, you guys know I wouldn't go along with that. I never have. He's not my responsibility, nor am I obligated in any way to assist you in apprehending him. But you guys didn't anticipate her to fall in love with the Narco. She pulled the rug from under you guys with that move.
Come on, Lieutenant Gray. It must have bothered you to know that Agent Rooks had left you for your own brother. Hell, Vincent has his own intelligence network. You don't think he knew that he was sleeping with his little brother's former girlfriend?
Oh, I'm sure he did, Agent Montoya. He's always been envious of the women I've dated growing up. I'm sure Agent Rooks was a crowning achievement for him. But did you know that the jackass had no idea that she was an undercover D.E.A. agent until after I shot her?
And just how do you know that?
He told me. But that was not the reason I shot her. You see, Agent Rooks had gotten herself into some really deep shit while on the other side of the law. She started stealing money and drugs from Vincent and giving them to her brother in Baltimore, who supposedly was using the money to pay for his wife's cancer treatments. That was a lie, though. His wife didn't even have cancer. He was using the money and drugs to fund his own drug crew, which happened to be competing directly against some of Vincent's operations, ironically. Through my contacts, I eventually tracked her down to Miami just as she was about to head to Honduras to join up with my brother, who had decided to run most of his business from there. Looks like she was about to leave the country for good. But she had to tie up some last-minute business and deliver some more money and drugs to her brother, who was in town holed up in a motel. That was the day I confronted her in the parking garage, leaving an apartment Vincent owned.
Where you shot her?
You should have seen the look on her face when she seen me that afternoon. It was like she had seen a ghost. As I mentioned before, I had went there to talk some sense into her and to try to convince her to come back before she went too far off on the deep end. But I never got the chance to tell her that. The truth is, Montoya, she had no idea why I was there that day. Maybe she thought I was angry and I had came to kill her. Hell, with a bag full of money and cocaine, maybe she thought I was there to arrest her ass. But the one thing I did come to realize was that I was the one and only thing keeping her from getting her brother that money that day. I was the one and only thing that kept her from catching that flight to Honduras. And there was no way in hell she could have went to jail with my brother knowing she had been stealing money from him. So, she made her move. And that's what happened. She drove me and I responded like any other peace officer would in that situation. Sorry for the loss of your agent, but you guys lost her a long time ago.
Our agency has no love for traitors, Lieutenant. Agent Rooks made her decision and she ultimately had to answer for it. It's unfortunate.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it for now. It sounds like we'll have this worked out shortly. Thank you for your time, Lieutenant. I'll leave you be. Oh, there is one more thing.
What's this?
It's from the DOJ. This Rooks incident has gotten a lot of attention from the folks in Washington. I'm sorry, Doug, but that my brother isn't my responsibility crap just isn't going to cut it anymore. You've been ordered to assist in the locating and capture of your brother, Vincent. You can tell him the next time he calls you. I'll see you in Virginia in a few days.